Hello, this is Gene. I want to talk about Israel conflict that's going on. I haven't been talking for a couple days because we're not really in a whole lot. We're not knowing a whole lot, and it's very difficult for me to go on because the people I normally listen to are so over the top in Israel's butthole that it's so over the top. Our congressman is the same thing. Congresswomen, congressmen, our executive branch, conservative talk show hosts, and they just say such stupid stuff. And it's like Israel has every right to do whatever they want to do, no matter what. And um, but they don't understand that maybe they're losing a PR battle right now. That young people are on the side of Palestine, and these are the same people that said these kids should no longer have jobs or they should be on a list. These these quote unquote free speech type people. But don't say anything bad about Israel, then your life is taken away from you. And it's true. A lot of those kids don't understand what's really going on there. I don't know enough everything about what's going on there. I don't know who shit was there first. I don't give a shit. And I'd said this to my wife because my wife said the same thing. My mother-in-law said the same thing. Well, the Jews have been there forever. It's their claim. And I'm like, I'm talking about what's going on right now. You just can't sit there and say because historically that the Jews were there longer. Can we really make that statement? Is everybody out of Africa? There are a lot of people that doesn't believe that we're all related that way. So you just can't make that statement overall. And I don't care. Is it only became Israel in 1948 because the British and the England and the United States backed that up, and that made it Israel? Um, I don't know. It's a very, very difficult situation. It's not black and white. It never has been black and white. And it's like they think it's okay that they can go in and there's going to be people going to die from it, and there's going to be bloodshed everywhere. And I'm like, I don't want Americans to be over there, and it's already happening. And I should be able to say this is not right. And these are the same people that can't believe that we went to Iraq. You know, the weapons of mass destruction and all that stuff, and they said they were wrong back then because they believed the intel that we had, and they have the mea culpa about it, and now they don't give a shit. No matter what Israel says, we're just going to do what they say, and every fucking show is about Israel. We might have a little reprieve because we're a mass shooter like in Maine, and it'll be 3 or 4 hours of that, but then we go right back to Israel. That has to be the number one fucking thing to talk about. And then this guy, who in some ways says very conservative, he's a new Speaker of the House, and he said the very first bill is the one for Israel. How about protecting the southern border of the United States? How about the 100,000 people who died from overdoses? How about helping out our schools and the fact that we're the worst in the Western world when it comes to our school system? How about young men are failing? How about deal with that? Because this is what happens when young men fail for 20 or 30 years. They become that guy last night that killed 22 people when he was hearing voices. And the government came in, the VA, and said, obviously something's wrong with you, so we're going to keep you here for 2 weeks. And then apparently he got better, and they let him go instead of following him to make sure that he's okay, to keep him somewhat in a state that he won't go out and do things. Did they give him drugs? We don't know yet. But again, the drugs that you give now to young boys, especially when they're young, because our teachers and our young women can't deal with a rambunctious kid, a young boy who likes to run around where their testosterone is so high when they're young that they just can't sit. So they try to make little boys to be like little girls, and then they give them all mind-altering drugs. But all this is related, and that's why we have young men, teenage men, that are transitioning to women, because they've been told everything since they were young that they shouldn't be like young boys. Oh, can't be like a boy. Can't run around. Can't do this. Can't do that. Can't stay in the chair. Can't do that. And we've changed our school system to basically cater to young females, and that's why they dominate in everything. Now, there's some reasons for that, but it shouldn't be as the gap should not be as wide as it is. Um, this is all related. I'm talking about Israel, but I'm talking about when our government says, well, we have to look at people now. He's like, gets up there and he's doing this little thing about a speech, and he says, a lot of people in the United States don't trust us because you put Israel sovereignty over United States citizens. Did you care more about them? You want to fund that, and then you want our kids to go over there and defend that, but you don't want to do anything here locally to help young boys to get from the shit that they're in, so they don't do shit 20 years down from now that they might kill people. You can't let young men not have a goal in life. When you sit there and say that they've been the problem since day one, some of them are going to just snap from that. And most of them will have signs of it. And this guy clearly did. I don't know. It's one of those things. And now, where do you go from here? My father-in-law said that, that no one will take the Palestinians. And I said, well, we will. That's what's going to happen. Or Europe will do it because this is what we do. And all it does is bring it here. And then you'll have people say, well, Palestinians are no different than Hamas. And isn't even Palestinians, are they even real people? Do they really, are they just other Arabs? That they're not really Palestinians? And I'm like, that's not what the issue is here. There's 2 million people in that place, and they're bombing it with no humidity at all, or humanity at all. Oh, we told everybody we're going to come and do it. Oh, okay. It's like, this is not the way to fix things. And the fact is, we don't have the ability to tell other Muslim countries to take these people. So guess what happens? We're already $33 trillion in debt. That's the stuff that's not even secured. That's not even secured. We're probably over 100 trillion in debt. And then we're going to bring more people to be on the welfare thing. We have people coming through our southern border that some of them will do something that will end up killing a citizen in this country, whether they're going to sell drugs that ends up killing somebody, or they're going to go in and kill somebody to get some resources for themselves. And that's not traitorous. I've said it many, many times in this channel. All of the people in Congress, the senators, everybody should be fired right now. And if I had my way, they'd be shot. They would, because they're all traitors to this country. And I mean that I don't think I'm talking about morally they should be shot. I mean, I don't advocate for them to be shot. But these people are not there to help the common citizen. They're there to fatten up their own wallets, to think they're celebrities. All these fucking Congress people want to be celebrities. They want to be like actors. And it's just this cesspool of Luciferian satanic bullshit that goes on. And they go to Hollywood and these parties and they do all this ritual shit and like, oh, it's just kind of funny, but it's not really Luciferian. It's not Satanists or anything like that. We should never look at it that way. That's just their art. And they continually get away with it. They have ties to almost all the child pornography shit. All these people fucking know each other. It's like you rarely get somebody that gets from nowhere that becomes a congressman. Now, Congress people could be me, right? If I'm in the right district, I can get elected to be a congressman. But if you're a senator or you're from a big state, when you're a congressman, you are tied into the satanic worldview. When they sit there and allow, it's interesting in England when they're having these protests about Palestinians, that they're allowed to wear any type of flag that supports that, but a guy who happens to has the England flag, they have to be reported, and because you're offending the Muslims in your own country, and we have that here in this country as well. I have no problem with the Palestinians supporters marching on. I don't care, as long as they don't incite violence or anything like that. All it does is it says we know that there's an issue in this country, that some people have an issue with Israel, and there's a lot more than people really know, because these people are never been our friends. They will do whatever they can, and they'll make us pay for it, either through the green or through our red blood of our servicemen and servicewomen over there. and I don't like it. You, Israel can't do shit if Iran gets involved, or Jordan gets involved, or Egypt and it becomes a Muslim versus Jewish thing. What do we do then? It's like, let's put everything out there in the Mediterranean and just sit there and wait and see something to happen. Now, do I think this is a biblical end times? No, because we don't have the guy that's supposed to be the quote unquote the Antichrist or anything like that. This is just stupid ass people, the same warmongers that we've had forever. People forget that Israel was almost going to civil war because Netanyahu was basically taking away all the rights for certain things, and he's going to say we're never going to do this, and basically he's going to be a dictator. Right now, they're not going to have an election anymore because now he has this war, so he doesn't have to do anything. And he was having to deal with all the shit was going to happen, and then all of a sudden this shit happened. So now he has full control again. And they're like, oh, all these right wing, quote unquote, they're not right wing, but these people on the right are saying, well, all the authoritarian dictators that are around Israel, they'll just do anything. And I'm like, you have a dictator already in Israel, and they have as bad as our military is, it's still the biggest in the world. I mean, I will say it's not the biggest. That's China's, but we have enough that could do a lot of damage in the Middle East if we wanted to. And again, I'm sitting there listening to this, and I'm like, there's already humans or servicemen that's already been killed there. We know this, and to me, that's one too many. And it's like when an illegal alien comes across and ends up killing a citizen, each one of those is a charge against a president. That's traitorous, and they should be to jail. They should be hung in front of in the main square for what they've done to the city or this country. Let me get some of this. So where we go from here? We just let it play out. I mean, there are a lot of people that I listen to. It says there's like tripwires everywhere, and if we're not careful enough and weave around those, that one day we're going to do this, trip one of those, and then we're going to be in a shit storm, and we're going to be dealing with this like we did in Iraq for 20 fucking years. We're going to be there having bases there and propping up Israel for 8 or 9 million people. And we have 350 million here that can't get shit from their own government. And we have probably another 50 million that are not here legally, that just dries away our profit, our money, our taxes. They don't bring any value, not all of them, but a lot of them, to the United States, and they bring their own culture here. So this side, they're not going to fucking assimilate. Like they quote unquote left a war-torn area, find one in Central America that's every day is war-torn. It's not like the Middle fucking East. And they come here because they know they're going to get a handout from the government. And our president allowed this to happen. Our Congress allowed this to happen. So we get a new speaker, and I'm listening to this guy, Vince Dow, who's a conservative Asian dude, and I kind of like him. He's like, the guy's pretty cool, might be good. First fucking thing he does is, I'm going to get this first bill across, is going to be this funding for Israel. We already give these motherfuckers billions of dollars a year, but we got to give them more. Are we going to give them like $1 million for each person that's in Israel? Because that's basically what we're going to do at this point. But it's all, and then it's also tied to the Ukraine as well. Meanwhile, our debt is now 33 trillion. And we're, anyway, I can go on about this forever. The question is, what do we do now? I'm just telling you that all those little tripwires are everywhere. And people don't understand that Iran and Russia are together. And China is around that whole area now. In Northern Africa, they're doing shit there. I'm just saying that there's a lot of Muslims in Northern Africa as well. And if it becomes a religious thing, and it's Muslims against Jews and against Christians, even though I don't consider them the same, Israel's going to lose. They're going to lose. And we're going to lose a lot of fucking people. And what I see And again, this is all what's the word? Indentural. Okay. Just in different. I don't understand the word. Anyway, I see a lot of people on TikTok that are in the military, Marines, U.S. Air Force, Army. These guys couldn't fight anybody on the ground. They just sit there and they just get in they have a desk job, and they flaunt the fact that they can not really do the regulations at all. They can have their hair down and nothing like that. Or if you're a man, you want to get transitioned, you just go in and they give you the surgery for that, and the taxpayers pay for it. And they just flaunt this on TikTok, which is run by the CCP. And we allow this, and then people that want to run for governor or president, like Newsom, is in the coffers of the CCP. There are so many people in Congress that have ties to CCP. Our president has ties to the CCP and Ukrainian stuff, the most corrupt countries in the world, and nobody will do it. We'll march. You know, the weird thing is that the people that support Palestine will march about it, but white people in this country will not march anymore after January 6th. We won't march for our citizenry to say what's going on in our country at all. We're broke. Our balls have been crushed so much that we're all fucking women now, and we won't do anything about it. Sometimes we will, and we'll know. We'll find out this guy comes out and he has a manifesto and he said he'd do this. You know, people saying he's part of a MK Ultra. He kind of like is the textbook example of what those guys are. Guy that was in the military, easily hearing voices in their head to try to get what they, I mean, if you go down that rabbit hole, you might think that this is just a way to get their guns away from us. As long as we have the Second Amendment in this country, we have an opportunity that if all these illegals get across and they want to be grouped together and have these little things they're going to do, at least we're going to be able to defend ourselves at some point. I would not trust the local cops to save us. Yeah, I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do about this, and it's unfortunate. So I shouldn't have to do it. And the thing is that we did it to ourselves. We voted these fucking assholes in office, and then when they started passing these things, and there was, well, it'll never change the demographics of this country. And then when you realized it was, that nobody would stop it, and then we gave them billions and billions of dollars to put a wall on the southern border, and they never finished it. So where's that fucking money going, and why isn't that being investigated, and where did that go to, and how these people walk in with worth about $500,000, and after 20 years they're worth almost $1 billion. This is not what the House was about. It's not how the framers framed it. They're all traitors, all of them. You know, we definitely need an old, like it was in the 50s under McCarthy. I think we need another one of those to find the people that are actually loyal to this country. And you can't say that about certain people, since like 20% in Congress happen to be those people. If you say anything about loyalty, then you're anti-Semitic. But anyway, I got to stop. Just let me know in the comments, where do you think we're going with that? Do you think that we killed ourselves and we deserve what's coming? Let me know, and we'll talk about it.